Hello, I'm Jeremiah. Today I'm doing a video that's a little bit different than what I normally do. About 6 months ago I saw a video by YouTube user Destin WS2, and he showed how a chicken's head has built-in stabilization, where you can move the chicken around and his head will stay in the same position. So about 3 weeks ago I saw the video again because there was another video that hit the front page of Reddit, and it reminded me of his video, and I thought, why not put a camera on the chicken's head and use it as a real live camera stabilizer. Well, Destin beat me to it. He did it himself that day, and I didn't have the camera yet. But I was reading the comments, and I was noticing how some people were saying, why not compare it without the stabilization? Or, just put it in your own hand, or, put it on your own head, or, run around with the chicken with the camera on his head, or maybe drive in a car, or go on a mountain bike over bumpy terrain. So 3 weeks later, my camera arrived from China, and I spent 30 minutes, and I caught a rooster, and I managed to get this camera on his head, and I started, walking around, and you'll see that, with the exception that his head is moving around and looking at things, it's actually pretty stable. And then I went and I drove down a bumpy road. I got my dad to drive me down the road while I was holding the rooster, and this is a really bumpy road, and it's really hard to hold camera stable, but you'll see that this is surprisingly stable, again with the exception that the rooster is looking around. That's kind of understandable. I'd probably have to blindfold him to keep him from looking around, which I wish I thought of that at the moment, but I didn't. But again, it's really stable, and yeah, I'm really impressed with this. So then I went and I stuck the camera on the side of my own head to get a comparison. Here I am on a bike, and it's pretty stable. You have a lot of bumpiness, but it's not as bad as here it is in my hand. It's really shaky. Now, I did also put it on the chicken, but the problem here is that there's a lot of movement around the chicken, so he's looking around, so it kind of messes up the results. Okay, so here they all three are at once, and it's really confusing. So then I decided, let's just walk around. Here it is on the chicken's head. It's it's again a lot more stable than it was on the bike with the chicken. He's still moving his head around to look at stuff, but with the exception of that, it's pretty stable. And here it is on my own head, and it's a lot more shaky because my head's moving back and forth with my step. And then here it is with just in my hand, and it's a lot more shaky. And yeah, so and then here we go where it's all three at once, and you'll see that the chicken by far is the most stable with the exception of him looking around. And anyway, and then I decided let's compare it with me driving in the car, and here's just the chicken. It's pretty stable. And then we have it here where it's on my own head, and it's fairly stable, but not as stable as the chicken. My head's bobbing around a little bit, and then I do it where I just hold it in my hand, and it's all over the place. So, and then here we have them all three at once. So yeah, the chicken seems to be pretty stable. Now, so that's the end of my experimentation. If I were to do this again, I would probably blindfold the rooster. I'd like to get a wide-angle lens so we have a wider field of view, but I don't know if they have anything that small for this particular camera. So anyway, my last experiment was to let the rooster go and let him run around and see what it looked like where it's just attached to his head. So let's see what that looks like.
Okay, now we're going to set the rooster down.
And I'll say that no animals were harmed in the making of this video. So now he was running around a lot, and chickens have only 2 feet, so they kind of wobble back and forth, and I'm sure there was a lot of oscillation because of the camera not being very secure on his head, so it's probably kind of messed up with that. So it is pretty shaky, but anyway, I was just kind of interested to see what it looked like. I hope you enjoyed the video, and this was really fun to do. Thanks for watching.